new episode of Soccer Examiner. I'm Victor, and I just came from watching the last game that was on today, the Paraguay versus Italy game. A very intense game in my opinion, but I'll get to that later. So like I said, 3 games today. Started off with the Netherlands versus Denmark, then we had the Cameroon versus Japan, and lastly, the game I just finished watching, the Italy versus Paraguay game. So let's begin with the first match. The Holland versus, or Netherlands, I should say, versus the Denmark team. Really early match, at least for me. Not as exciting as I thought it'd be, to be quite honest. Yes, there was speed. There were glimpses of good soccer, but other than that, it was a really dull game, especially for a morning game. At least in my where I am, it's a morning game. To be honest, both teams played pretty well. Van der Vaart played a decent game. Unfortunately, I'm assuming Robin didn't play because he was still suffering a little bit from the injury. Not sure whether that was it, but hopefully we'll see him in the next match. Van Persie, don't think he had a good match. As I'm used to seeing him, he didn't. Had a couple chances, but he just couldn't get it in the back of the net. To me, the game started getting more interesting was when Van der Vaart was subbed out for number 17, Elia. And after he got in, things were more dynamic, a lot of more speed. I just feel that Elia put a lot of energy that the Holland team needed, because other than that, the game was pretty dull. The first goal that the Netherlands got, the own goal, I don't know how I feel about that one. Undecisive. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, but anyways. The other goal, to be honest, was kind of lucky. I believed Elia should have gotten that goal. But like I said before, Coit is a good striker. He's an opportunist, at least in this occasion. He was an opportunist, and he managed to get the ball in the net. And in the end of the day, 2-0 victory is good for the Netherlands. The good players, at least for me, in my opinion, for the Netherlands today was Van der Vaart. Not as good as I'm used to seeing him, but a fairly good match from him. Coit for the second goal, obviously, and last I have Elia, the sub that came in for Van der Vaart. The only bad player, or the player that I wish he would step up his game, was Sneijder. He had a couple of good looks, a couple of good assists, or not assists, but good chances of catalyzing the attack, but other than that, not as good as I'm used to seeing him. So hopefully, I think the commentator said he was fatigued from a lot of matches he's had, and I guess I could see that. I mean, he's played the Champions League and league matches, so hopefully he's better fit for the next match. For Denmark, I have Bettner as a good player. He didn't get on the scoreboard, unfortunately, but he created a lot of attacks and he was in a lot of opportunities there. The bad player I have, or the player that needs to step up, will probably be number 10 from Netherlands. I believe he's the captain. Didn't see much of him. I think it was Poulsen. No, not Poulsen. I can't remember the name. I'm sorry. If you guys remember, please hit me up or tell me. Next game was the Japan versus Cameroon game. Likewise with the Netherlands and Denmark game, it wasn't as interesting as I thought it'd be. I, on the other hand, was going for Cameroon. The game ended in Japan's favor. The goal, basically, that Japan scored by Honda, I would say was mainly the defense's fault, and I guess the quickness of Honda. But other than that, a pretty decent match. I'm kind of annoyed that Samuel Eto'o was sacrificed. I believe he was sacrificed. He had to play lower in the field, not usually his striker position, as I'm used to seeing him, although he has been playing that position in Inter Milan. The fact is that there is just no creative player or player that can create within the attack. So Eto'o was sacrificed, and he was basically told to start the attack. Um, Other than that, it was a good match. A lot of quick footwork from Eto'o, actually. A couple of nice plays. But Eto'o's actually one of my players that needs to step up. The team is looking towards him. He may not sit. He has said in an interview that the team is not just based on him, but he would be a major part of his team, and he needs to take it to the next level. Well, actually, I have him as a good player. Never mind. The player who should step up his game, or who had played a horrible game, was the goalkeeper. The goal, I believe was a mistake by the goalkeeper. He came out, didn't punch out the ball, and Honda just basically put it in the back of the net. So goalkeeper was the negative for that game. For the good of Japan, I have obviously Honda, who scored. I believe the commentator said he was the second youngest Japanese player to score in a World Cup, so that's an interesting note right there. A player who should step up would probably be Okubo. He kind of disappeared during the match, but other than that, just need to see more from him. So yeah, Japan won. It'll be interesting. 3 points for them, and it'll be interesting to see what they do against the other two teams, which are Netherlands and Denmark, especially since Japan now has the upper hand with 3 points. The last match that I came for, and probably the most exciting game I've seen today, has been the Italy versus Paraguay game. Like I said before, I thought Italy was going to win 2-1, but I was hoping, for an upset from the Paraguayan team. And they almost had it, 1-0 game at halftime. I honestly thought Paraguay was dominating the whole game. But unfortunately, another error from the goalkeeper. We keep seeing a lot of these errors. Hopefully that's not what defines this World Cup. Most of the goals by goalkeepers' misjudgments. But other than that, like I said, a mistake from the goalkeeper, Villar. I believe it was Villar. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's a darn shame. Especially since I think they were dedicating this game for Salvador Cabañas. Victory would have been better, and it would have set up nicely for Paraguay. But now they'll have to fight against Slovakia and New Zealand, which hopefully after this performance, I clearly see Paraguay getting into this next round. Hopefully if they play the same way they played today. But other than that, Italy didn't play that well either. A lot of questions on the back line, especially with Fabio Cannavaro. I believe he did not have a pretty good game, but I'll get to that later. As for my selections for Paraguay, the 3 top players that played a pretty good game are Valdez, the striker, Alcaraz, the defender who actually scored the goal, and Torres, the Paraguayan who did the free kick leading to the goal. Then, like I said, no, I wouldn't say bad, but needs to improve would probably be the goalkeeper from Paraguay. Played a phenomenal game during the whole match, just for that one mistake. But in football, one mistake could just be enough to ruin the whole game. And unfortunately, this is what happened. As for Italy, my probably favorite player now would be Simone Pepe. He was really dynamic during the game, all around. Very, very influential in this tie that Italy had. Honestly, he was unstoppable. And now for the players who didn't play that well, I'm stuck between Cannavaro. I had De Rossi on before, but since he scored the goal, I'm gonna take him off the list. Or Gilardino. I mean, Gilardino was basically, I'm not sure if I even heard his name once or twice during the match. Need to see more of him, and Cannavaro needs to be more strict on the defense. Players of the match for me for the first game would be Sneijder. For the second game would be Honda. And for the last game, People say Alcaraz. I say why not Simone Pepe. He was a good player for Italy. And hopefully we'll see more of him in the next matches. That's all for today. And I will do a video on my predictions for the next 3 games. I'll see you guys later.